everyone, I'm Debbie Henry, and this is the Hartwell Hustle Show. This is where we talk about everything in Hartwell, interesting people in Hartwell, and just things that make us interesting and makes our town click. It's been a hot minute, y'all. It's hot out there, and it's been a little bit since we've been here. But today, we're bringing the past to the future. And we have Julie Vintagebaum with us.
No,
I get that wrong every time because you'll find out why I said that in a few minutes. But I have Julie Willette with us today, and she is. I'm gonna let her tell you, of course, about her, and I'm gonna let her open it up. But we're glad to have her, and we're glad you're here today. Thanks for tuning in.
thanks, Debbie. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely.
It's Julie Vintagebaum.
Vintagebaum,
Bam,
but it's really
B-A-M.
Willette. Julie Willette is your name.
Oh, yeah, I have another name. Yes, it's Julie Willette. I've lived here, I've had a house here for probably 20 years and moved up here permanently in 2021, take care of my mother-in-law. And so I stayed, and I love it here. All my friends from Gwinnett are like, do you hate it? Do you think it's too far out in the country? And I'm like, no, we have everything.
Yeah.
Now we have an Aldi, which
Yeah.
is like super amazing. I have a husband and 2 kids, and they live in Alabama and Tennessee.
Your
My
husband-
husband lives here. My kids live there. And we love to camp, and we have dogs and all the fun stuff. So we're not quite in retirement yet,
Okay.
but hope to be someday.
Good.
But I'll always be doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So vintage is your thing. Vintage is your passion.
Yes.
How did you get into the vintage business? Now, listen, let me just say this, because I know there's an audience out there that doesn't have a clue what our age enjoys, but we enjoy vintage. So,
Oh, but it's every age now.
Is
like
it?
seriously.
okay. What is it,
We've
though?
been super excited to see the 20s and 30 something
Uh-huh.
folks enjoy vintage. So if something's vintage, first of all, I'm going to start with antique. If something's antique, how old do you think it needs to be?
Please don't say my age.
No, it's actually 100 years.
Okay.
So
I'm not there.
nothing is considered a true antique until it's 100 years old.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody will say antique, but really it's not. It's just vintage. And then vintage is 30 years or greater. And there's a buffer zone there, 25 to 30 to 35, based on whether you're talking about clothes or you're talking about furniture. There can be a variety there. And so a lot of people say, well, what's in vintage? You'll find mid-century, you'll find Art Deco, you'll find all the other different descriptions for all the older styles.
Mm-hmm.
And then people say, well, what's between the 1990s, which is now vintage, which is super scary, because all that stuff in the 90s, you know what's coming back? Ducks. That's all I have to say. And
Well, the Jeeps should be fine because they have all the little ducks in the.
Oh, no. Do you remember the cement ducks with the little outfits on the front porch?
That's coming back.
So Hartwell, if you have any of those
Hold on to them.
in the storage, in the basement, in the attic, hold on to them. They're coming back. Oh my God, I'm gonna sew up some little outfits. Like, wouldn't that be insane?
Okay.
I did say that if that ever happened and those came back, like even the ducks on the plates and the canisters
Ugh.
and all that, then I was leaving the business.
Yeah.
But now that it's here, I don't think I'm gonna leave.
So speaking of the business, how did you get into the vintage business?
Well, I've always loved home decor.
Okay.
And my house has always been very traditional and very boring. But I was one of those kids in the 8th grade who had the spiked hair and the black lipstick and wore the hot pink. And then, I got too embarrassed to be myself for a long time because that's what society does to women. And found myself again maybe 10 years ago. Once my kids got out of school and I went back to work. And I started working at Queen of Hearts Antiques in Beaufort.
Okay.
And there we have 200 dealers, so I became a vintage dealer. But it took some time to find my style. And
What is your style?
color,
Okay.
fun, mid-century, and mid-century modern.
Okay.
And basically color. When I got into this business, it was farmhouse. And so everybody had a suburban house in Atlanta with a sign that said farmhouse. And I'm like, well, it's just not authentic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything was gray and everything was white and tan. And my heart and my head was screaming for color. So I started a booth with color.
Okay.
And I started painting it. They were like, I'm not sure about that color.
What was the first color of your booth?
Bright blue.
Okay.
Yeah. Blue is my favorite color. So all color.
Okay.
So if you came in and you wanted a purple vase, right? Because some people might just want specifically a purple vase.
Mm-hmm.
They could say, oh, well, I know who might have that. And they would take it to my booth because it would have color. So people would start there. And then it just evolved from that.
Okay. So what about, but you had to come up with a name.
Yes.
What is your brand is Julie Vintage Bam.
Yes. So when I started at the Queen of Hearts, I was doing some videos for my booth and I would say the word Bam. And this was kind of back when, who was that chef that used to do it? It was after that.
Okay.
You know, the chef who said Bam.
Of the laundry commercial. Oh, the chef. Okay. I know you're, I don't know his name.
Anyway.
Somebody can phone us in or whatever.
They hated it.
Mm-hmm.
The owner of the store hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And so in Julie fashion, I kept it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped saying it, but I did keep it in my name. And it really, I think, encapsulates the like pow or the wow or the wow factor of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Not a shocking thing, but a like, holy moly, you know?
Well, if you, as in true fashion with what you do, Bam should come back into fashion.
It could. It could.
So you never know.
Yep. You
never know. So tell us about some things in your booth.
So there's a mid-century. Think about the 1970s ceramics that you painted. You always gave your parents an ashtray, right? Because everybody smoked. So vintage ashtrays are one of my favorite things to collect, whether they're made commercially by Hager or someone else or USA Pottery, or made like a ceramic in someone's craft night for the moms who wanted to smoke and get out, make ashtrays. You'll always find things like vases. And I brought a couple today. These are called swung glass. And because, you know, they're swinging the glass when they're making it. And so this creates fingers. So these are all called fingers.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll have legs on there, but they're actually called toes. And so you'll have fingers and toes. So this I would sell in my booth because it's blue. But this I keep. So I have a collection of these. So again, Hartwell, if anybody has any of these stored anywhere, please reach out to me.
Or if you have a green one, I want it.
Oh, I have a green one.
Oh.
I have one that's going in my booth, so we might need to talk. So this one I got on auction, and I collect. It's called Ellie. It's by Ellie Smith, which does a variety of colors of vases and glassware.
How old is this?
I think this is 1960s, early 1960s.
Okay.
But again, I could be wrong. I'm not completely an expert on the years. It's hard to find out an exact year because they are manufactured over the course of 15 years. And this is called Ellie Smith Bittersweet. And I love the orange. The orange just speaks to me. And they're all unique because they're all hand blown. So you never have one that's exactly like the others. And to get a big one like this that can live, 60 years without being broken or cracked or chipped is like pretty amazing.
So how much, like if someone's got this in their basement, how much is it worth?
How much is it worth?
I guess to whoever's going to buy it. That's
retail. This one would be $600 to $800.
No way.
Retail. Yeah. Now this one would be more like 80 to 90.
Wow.
But there's a big variety based on what people want. So people are only going to buy what they want.
Right.
So things go in and out of fashion, just like things like Pyrex and
Right.
and all of that dishes for sure.
Well, how do you determine what to keep, what not to keep? Is your house just filled with all this, or do you say?
No, my house is not filled. I do have a vintage hutch that's full of my favorite things, and that rotates out.
Okay.
So right now I have a lot of birds. I have a lot of yellow and orange. But once I find the next thing that I'm in love with, then all of a sudden I'll start changing it out, and then things will go to my booth. So, but I'll never sell these. I'll never sell these.
Never say never.
Right, true.
So, what's the funnest thing you've ever bought?
Well, funnest or funny is the story.
Or both. Yeah, let's do funny.
Because you have to look at the dimensions. Okay, so I buy a lot on online auctions.
Okay.
Or marketplace or different things. And so my very first piece that really cracked me up was a picture of a white Persian cat on a sofa. So I thought it was online, and I thought it was going to be like this big. And so I bid on it, and no one else bid on it. It was $5. Okay, so I sent my husband and my son to go get it. Well, it's 6 feet by 4 feet.
Oh, gosh.
Picture of a Persian cat on a sofa. And that became Pictures with Princess. And so people would come in my booth and they would take a picture and they would tag me on social media.
Oh.
And it became a thing to follow. I finally sold it because it took up so much space, and I only had an 8x10 booth at that point. So it took up almost an entire wall. I finally sold it for $40. And I was so sad afterwards.
Why did you sell it for that?
Well, because I couldn't sell it, because nobody wants a 6 foot by 4 foot picture of a Persian cat.
Yeah, but everybody was taking pictures with it.
I know, but did they want to have it in their home?
Well, okay, I see your point.
So then I sold it to this guy who was also an antique dealer. He put it in his storage. I even asked him to buy it back at one point. But then the next month, there was a magazine article in a home decor magazine, and it was a dining room, and there on the wall was the picture of the cat in this national magazine. And so I made pretend it was mine, but it wasn't mine. It wasn't the one I had.
It wasn't?
No.
Okay.
But if you ask me in another time, I'll tell you. It was
That is
totally
a great
mine.
story, though. That's a great story. Yay, yay.
It's buried in my Instagram somewhere. I'll have to repost it.
Well, I was getting ready to ask you if you've had anything just really spectacular.
Yes. There's several brands that are like the Porsche of mid-century.
Oh, okay.
And so when I find those, I always buy them. It doesn't matter how much I pay for them, because I'm willing to pay a premium to get them in my booth because they're so spectacular. Bory Hill Brasilia is one of the pieces. And so I actually had someone from California call me and ask me to ship it to them because it's one of those pieces that's so hard to find. And it was the bottom of a 2-piece set. And they had the top and I had the bottom. And so they bought it from me for, for a profit. And then they shipped it for, $800, $1,000 across the country to California to make it with there. And mid-century modern is super trending out there. It's super trending in cities like Atlanta, Greenville, Chattanooga. The young 20 or 30s tend to that style.
So is it different for different parts of the country?
Yes,
okay,
absolutely. And even different parts of the state.
So you really don't know. You might have something in your booth that, like you said, someone in California really wanted and not even realize. I mean, you would know that because that's what you do.
Right.
But that's crazy.
Well, that's why it's important to be on social media.
There.
People always say, well, only a few people see it. But if someone's looking for something specific, they'll find you.
Right.
And I've shipped multiple times to California and Florida.
So how can you tell if something's quality or not?
For furniture, quality is different from vintage, right? Well, quality and vintage. So if anything's handmade, you can tell because it's got hand carved or whatever. Now that's not necessarily mid-century. Mid-century is 1950s. There's a lot of walnut, a lot of teak. And one of the easiest ways to tell if something is vintage versus a reproduction, because you are finding a lot of those. Like if you go on Wayfair or any other trending site, you'll find mid-century style, which is not mid-century, obviously. But you look at whether or not the drawers have dovetails versus screws. You look whether or not it has flathead screws or Phillips head. Like, why did it take us so long to figure out Phillips head? Was it easier to turn than a flathead? But same thing with rolling suitcases. But
wow.
So you look at the hardware. Sometimes there'll be a stamp, but oftentimes if it's just a piece of a set, not every piece had stamps. You can look at the makers. Often they're inside the drawers. And if you see a maker, you can usually look that up. That's the best way to tell if it's quality. It's gonna be mostly wood. Now there's a lot of laminate that came out, like the veneers.
Right.
But you can refinish that. And they will also sell veneer, you can replace a section or whatever. So if you're very gentle with veneers, you can sand them a little and restain them and make them look perfectly new. So it's just something can be covered in dust and you might think it's nothing, but with a little bit of time, you can usually bring it back to life. Because if it's solid wood or a really wood-based product, it's not going to fall apart if you try and improve it.
Right. So where do you go to find your pieces?
I'm not telling.
Well,
No,
okay.
A good picker never shares her secrets.
Okay. So you used the word picker.
Yeah.
So that's what you are, is a picker.
I'm a vintage picker. Sure, yeah.
Like the guys on TV.
Yeah.
That's
Yep. And I go through snake-infested barns. It's like awful. And spiders and...
yeah, I've seen you with your boots on.
Yeah.
I mean...
it's not all that glamorous. I don't
No.
typically go picking like this.
So tell us about your outfit.
Oh, well, this is a 1960s JCPenney classic. And it is made of polyester. So yes, I'm sweating. The only thing I'm missing is like a cigarette because back then everybody smoked cigarettes. But yeah, I got that in a vintage shop for sure.
Wow. Now, do you prefer furniture over clothes or... I mean, because there's a lot of clothes out there, and the young people really do like the clothes.
Yes, it is hard to find clothes that's in great shape. You
Okay.
either kind of have to do clothes or furniture because you can pick for hours and hours.
And you do furniture.
And I do. I try and do furniture and accessories. Because there are a lot, like you said, there are a lot of great clothes people out there. And but all the sizing is bad. You know, like this is probably a 20.
Because they've changed over the years.
Yes.
And women's
And women have
sizes
gotten bigger.
Women's size, I know. Imagine that. I mean,
Yeah.
go figure.
Yeah.
Well, it looks great on you. I love it. And I love the blue. It's your favorite color.
Well, it might be a 2. Like
two.
a vintage 2.
Oh, how nice.
I'll say that.
So
No, it's
I
not.
can wear like something small then. Maybe not.
No, but really, no. I just bought a dress that was a size 16, and I'm normally a 12.
So you do a lot of sewing, though, I know. I know that if
I
you
do.
find something...
I do.
And do you ever make reproductions, or is that a no-no?
No, I'm not really that good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of that's for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does someone get in touch with you if they...
So I am pretty active on Instagram
Okay.
and Facebook.
And
Under
what is your
Julie
tag?
Vintage BAM, BAM. And I post lots of things in stories. I posted this. I posted that I was coming here.
Oh, nice. Good.
But that's how you can find me. And then my booth, I have several booths that are located here in Buford, Georgia, just west of the Mall of Georgia at the Queen of Hearts Antiques.
And I've noticed you locally here in Hartwell when there's festivals.
Yes,
and...
when festivals. Now, there's great places to pick here. You know, the Summer House has vintage here in Hartwell. In Anderson, there's a wide variety of antique shops that have great vintage. Centerville Pickers Mart, Willow Antiques, Apple Dumpling. Those are all great places to go. I love to go just because I like to find things I've never seen before.
And I would encourage you, if you've got an estate sale, before you do it, give Julie a call. Have her come in and take a look. Would you like that?
Sure. I already have some ins with some of the estate sale people around here.
See, there you go. Have, if you've got, I know my family, when it was time to clean out the house, it was like, okay, does it have a story? If it has a story, we hold on to it. If it does not have a story, we got rid of it. But we may have gotten rid of some things that were really valuable. I mean, who knows?
Well, they're only valuable to the people who want them.
That's true.
So even when you have an estate sale or you get rid of stuff, if it doesn't have intrinsic value to that person, then you're not going to make $1 million for it.
Right.
And what I love is buying things from folks because they know I appreciate them. Yeah. I'm not just tossing it in a box and throwing it out to make a buck. I really love everything that I purchase. And then the people who purchase from me really love it too. Yeah. So that's what it's all about. It's about the relationship and handing things down to create relationships.
Right. Has anyone you mentioned you have kids and they're grown now. Has anyone in your family picked up on the love of vintage?
My son Christian has.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He's been doing his own picking. I'm trying to get him to get a booth over in Alabama.
Okay. You'll need your own show, Mom and Son Pickers.
I know, right? But he's a vintage soul for sure.
Oh, nice.
He loves all the funky stuff. And right now I collect little vintage tikis for him. So that's his little collection.
Okay. So what does your husband do when you come home with all this stuff?
I don't tell him.
But now he knows because he's going to see this, so now he knows.
Well, I have a process because I come home and I leave it all in the car. And then when he goes into work the next day, then I take it out of the car and put it in my garage. Okay. And I have a 2-bay garage that has no cars in it, that has all of my stash.
Okay.
And he doesn't go in there.
Well, he can't.
Because I'm really messy. But I know where everything is.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like for our audience to know about Julie Vintage Bam? I said it right that time.
You did.
Or now I'm always going to, when I say that though, or see it, I'm always going to hear that bam,
bam. Yeah. Buy what you love.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't matter what the magazines say. Right. It doesn't matter what social media says.
Because it never goes out of style if you love it.
It never goes out of style if you love it. Absolutely not. And when you look around your home, you should be like, I remember when I went with, Debbie shopping for that piece and we had such a great time. And there should be a memory associated with it. And then be willing to let it go when your interests change, because someone else will, we don't throw it in the trash. We're saving landfills. So someone else will love it just as much. And, if you think 60 years, I don't know how many people own this,
If it could talk.
So, yeah, just stick with what you love and it'll fit anywhere.
So you make everything sound so easy. There have to be some challenges. What are the challenges of finding vintage furniture?
Well, refinishing vintage furniture, first I have to say, why does every table have gum underneath? Like, seriously. Gum, like stuck from the 1970s.
Because they did it when they were in school. They would put it under their desk.
But even if it's a dining table, did you let your kids put gum under the table?
Well, I never let them, but that didn't mean they didn't.
Right. So, yeah, seriously, look under your tables if you have small children, because there might be gum there. Cigarette smoke. Oh my gosh. Some artwork is ruined by cigarette smoke.
Okay.
I know my parents chain smoked in the 70s and 80s, 60s, 50s. So years and years of that, you just wipe it off and it's this amber color. It's so gross. Lamps, rewiring lamps.
Yeah.
I try not to put anything in my booth that I wouldn't put in my home as far as electrical. So I usually rewire all of those.
Do you do that yourself?
I do that myself. Oh. YouTube is the best. And rewiring lamps is super easy.
Okay. No, you're supposed to make it sound hard.
No, but I'd only be able to charge like $10 to do it. So,
okay.
But if you do rewire lamps, a vintage lamp, you'll want to buy a vintage rewiring kit because the lamps now have very thick wires and you can't put it through all the vintage ones. So there's kind of a little thing, process there. And then, just cleaning stuff up. Like I took one piece that was painted, the entire thing, and under it was a beautiful mid-century piece. So back when farmhouse was a thing, painting furniture was a thing, and the true purist MCM folks like snub their nose at it. However, there are times when you have to paint a piece because it is really ruined. But I've sanded that all the way down and redone them into the wood again. So, everybody used those pieces because they used those pieces. They weren't looking at future value. They weren't looking at, well, what if someday down the line, Julie Vintage Bam is going to find this and then she can make enough money to go to lunch, like they weren't thinking that. They're like, my 10-year-old needs a dresser and that's what they're going to have. So, and then they eventually get rid of it because they're college-age kids, don't want it anymore.
Right.
And then it goes out of style and then they put it in the garage. So, especially here in the South, there's a lot of water damage and mold and mildew, of course.
Yes.
And spiders. So many spiders.
Can spiders run furniture?
Well, I don't like to put them in my car.
Oh,
with spiders in them. But my favorite thing is like pulling out the drawers and finding in the back like notes.
Yes.
Like childhood notes to friends.
Yes.
Or pictures or bobby pins.
Yes.
You can tell like a whole story about people by what they've left in the corners of their furniture. Like if you buy a couch and you pull it up and you see all the stuff on the inside.
Yeah.
This weekend I bought a made in Japan ceramic of, I'll send it in, elephants, family, super cute, kitschy. And so yesterday I was like shaking it and I took out the thing in the bottom and inside was a 10 Deutschmark and like clean as can be. And then I looked at the date and it was 1989.
Wow.
So to think from 1989 or roughly there, someone put that in there and no one has opened it since. And then it was donated or I don't remember. Who knows?
Yeah.
And that ended up in the shop. And then I bought it.
That's crazy. Is that the most recent piece you've bought?
Yes. This weekend I did some picking with a good friend and I filled up my car. And so I sourced some vintage crochet blankets in orange, brown, and yellow because that was the 1970s Afghans with the ziggy lines.
Do you know what I've seen that? I've seen, because I worked at a senior community, there were lots of those around, as an Afghan. I mean, not an Afghan,
shawl.
but a shawl wrapped around you.
Well, I'm going to take these ones, and I'm going to recover a chair.
Oh,
like
nice.
a whole upholstered chair.
Okay.
So that's my next dream project. I saw it on social media, and I'm like, I need to do that. So then I went out and sourced and washed all the animal hair off of them and cleaned them up, and then I will cut them up.
Well, they don't wash well, and if you need one, let me know because I washed mine.
And it didn't wash well?
I had left it outside on a chair, not in the weather, but on the front porch. But still, it's time for it to go away.
So it lived for like 60 years until it got to you, and then it died?
Well, it got to me, and I did wear it as a wrap.
Oh, okay.
A little while. I have some pictures so I can show my grandkids if they care. This was your great-great-great-grandmother's, Afghan, but it's time.
It's time that it goes on to a new life.
That's right. Like you said, you have to know when it's time to let it go.
You do. You have to know.
So,
and it's okay.
Yeah.
Because then if it becomes this part of this chair, then just think of the memories it'll make in the future.
So speaking of letting it go, it's time to let the show go. I'm Debbie Henry, and this is your Hartwell Hustle. And I want to thank you for being here today. And we look forward to next time. And thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Debbie.